Hello, it's very nice being here in Prague, in this lovely venue, in this lovely day. Today I'll talk with you about something which is very interesting, and I would say that it is the next stage in social communication and social interactions. So it is about how messaging apps are overtaking social networks, and what does this mean for the business, for the content creators, for the agencies as well. You have probably heard this already, and you are probably experiencing it every morning. So who of you went into your messenger, whatever it is, this morning before going into your social network of choice? Can you raise your hand? Okay, so I would say here it's around 40, 60 still, probably because you wake up too early and you don't receive a lot of messages on the messaging app. But what is more important is that in terms of regularity, in terms of interactions per day, all around the world, in all of the advanced markets, and when we talk about even markets like Africa and Asia, messaging apps are bigger in terms of users, in terms of reach, in terms of interactions per day, and in terms of time spent in the apps. Of course, this is a great opportunity. When we talk about Viber, we are covering 25% of the smartphone users in the Czech Republic. We have more than 1.5 million users in the Czech Republic. But when we look overall across the world, and we take our very strong Asian markets, Eastern Europe, Middle East, and like the more than 160 countries we are in, we have more than 1 billion users that have registered on Viber and are using our app. And they are, of course, purely mobile. I would say that a lot of this split can be relevant for any of the other two competitors that we have. So we have millions of interactions every second, pictures, videos, a lot of links, and a lot of services which are being discussed or are being shared. And the interaction of the users starts from a conversation, usually in a group or in a messaging app. And to illustrate that, I have a short video to show you about what happens on Viber only in 60 seconds, just to get a sense of the scale. Okay, so you probably saw it's a lot of selfies, a lot of cat stickers and GIFs and animations, a lot of fun going on there, but also a lot of serious stuff and a lot of business interactions, exchanging of contacts, organizing activities, or even teams, team coordination. And if we talk about where things are going, because this was I would say, the recent past, and to a certain extent the present of the messaging apps, Mary Meeker puts it very well. So the messaging apps are becoming hub for the users, because the users nowadays have too many applications. They have too many notifications on their phone, and they want to simplify their life. Our life has become too fast. It has become a little bit too complex for the technology, and it makes sense to use the way we use our phone for many different things. It makes sense to use less apps for more different occasions. And this is where things are going. So not only to have one-on-one chat, being able to call somebody for free, or to send a picture or any kind of other useful information to your friend, but also to be able to interact with your bank, to be able to interact with your service provider for telecoms or for electricity, to get notifications when you miss a bill, to get a promotion from your favorite shop right away, and to be able with just a couple of clicks to finish the order and to get the goods that you want there. Not to install one application for a service that you might be using once in the year. I will show you a couple of examples. For example, a music festival. Even your most favorite music festival, you go there once a year. And both for the festival and for yourself, it doesn't make sense to install yet another application. You know, like I'm from these kind of people that install yet another and another and another and another application. And right now I have probably 300 of them on my phone. How many I'm using every week or every month? Probably 30, probably 40, and I'm a heavy user. The average user uses much less. And if you are trying to push a notification and to compete with the Vibers, the Facebooks, the Googles of the world, your notification, even if you do it right, they are somewhere on the list, and they have only one tiny percentage chance to attract the attention of the user and to get this click. If you lose this attention span and the user clicks on something else, like if a friend tagged them somewhere, then it's gone. And you probably won't be able to reach them unless they go to the third screen of their phone and see that there is some kind of a number, that something is waiting for them there. So the answer to this is to go where their attention will go, for sure. So the users that are using messaging apps are opening them every day. Like is there somebody who doesn't open their messenger, their top messenger, at least one in the day, every day in the month? Okay, I hope that my question was correctly asked, but nobody raised the hand. So yeah, this is the place, and if you are able to send to these users the information in a relevant manner, and it is there in their inbox, and they have subscribed to that, then this information has a much higher chance to get their attention and to get this interaction, this click, this information back, than actually getting and waiting for the notification center into one siloed app somewhere else, especially if you have the opportunity and the technology to do it nowadays. So the most promising technology, which is also overhyped a little bit, I would say that this is the Bitcoin of our industry. So, you know, like a lot of promises, a lot of expectations, a lot of conversations, are the chatbots. So 2 years ago, there was a lot of talk about chatbots replacing the mobile apps from next year. Well, this didn't happen, obviously. But nevertheless, they hold a lot of promise. And there are already numerous brands, from the Nikes and the Coca-Colas of the world to much smaller brands also in our region, in Central Europe, who are using it and are leveraging the opportunity with much lower investments than a mobile app. So these are data on this slide of some of the key parts of what chatbots can do. So deploying a chatbot, it's much easier than launching a mobile application. And the main reason for that is that the biggest pain of creating a mobile app, and believe me, we know what is a pain to maintain a mobile app that runs on a billion devices, and a million different models of devices and variations of software, and to make sure that it works correctly. So basically, when you have a chatbot on a platform, this means that we are making sure, or for example, for that sake, Facebook Messenger, because okay, WhatsApp doesn't have bots, but the messaging app is making sure that the same experience is as good as possible for every user on every phone, and it is compatible. Whatever, is it iOS, is it Android, is it Samsung, is it Huawei, every phone out there that runs the messaging app correctly will be able to launch the chatbot. So you program it once, you invest into the frames, you invest into the functionality, and then we make sure that with our platform, it runs correctly and it has this kind of compatibility. And this is the biggest cost, if you think about it, to have a mobile app that runs correctly. The other thing is that it has increased engagement. The increased engagement is due to the fact that if you have a chatbot subscriber, you can send them a message at any given time. And this is where, of course, the intelligence of the algorithms and the information that you gather from these users, or you know by IDs, can kick in. So sending them the right message at the right moment will appear in their inbox, and they'll be able to respond and have this kind of interaction rates that we are talking about here. And users are taking it very well. So we have experimented, and we have done quite a lot of projects. One of the very interesting recent projects that we did was about the World Cup in Russia, and we had millions of people doing this.
We've been waiting for. Will Alex prove his total football dominance and humiliate his friends? He's picking a match to predict now. He goes left, he goes right. It's a tough call he's got to make here. And there it is! Tensions are rising as we wait to see how Stan from the office will respond. And here's his prediction. Oh, this rivalry is so heated. It all comes down to the leaderboard. And yes, take that, Stan, you human resources knucklehead. Beating your friends has never been easier. Download Viber today.
Okay, yeah, so basically it was a very fun game. The way it worked is that anybody could subscribe to the chatbot, download stickers that were related to their national team who participated in the World Cup. And then they started predicting matches. So the moment you predict a match correctly, you were winning 1 point. If you predicted the score correctly, you got 3 points. I won't dwell that much more into football because I might lose part of the audience. But anyway, you are getting points, and then you are competing by getting the most points in the world for an amazing prize. So as you probably know, the Rakuten from Rakuten Viber stands for one of the biggest technology companies in Asia, the Japanese e-commerce and payment giant, which is our mother company. And we are also, through our mother company, the major sponsor of Football Club Barcelona. So what we decided to do is, for this activation and for this game, we decided to provide an amazing prize. So the winner in the world, who got the most matches correctly, won two VIP tickets for the El Clásico, for Real Madrid-Barcelona on Camp Nou, together with the most prestigious sponsors of Barcelona, and also with access to the players after the match. So this will happen very soon, in a month and a half, in Barcelona. And we will send one guy from a very small town in Bulgaria to actually go there. So all of this, the amazing prize, the very cool algorithm, the fact that you don't have to install anything. You just had to click once, and you saw that you were able to subscribe to this chatbot. You received a message about what kind of prize you can get if you compete, and then you actually get the buttons and the interactive menus about guessing the score, about feedback about how you have done, and then you have everywhere buttons to share with your friends. All of this is 1 or 2 taps away, and it creates the viral element, because when you have a messaging service, we are not only talking about sharing one message about something with one friend, but actually we are talking about sharing it in a group with the guys that you are playing soccer with the guys that you are watching matches, or when you have family duties at home and you still watch the match. There are a lot of people that have groups to discuss their favorite team, how is it going, or their colleagues. And actually sharing with these 5, 10, 20 people is just 1 tap away. Then you have 20 exposed users. Even if you have from this 20% conversion rate, you get 4 people that are in addition to the service that you have built. So as you can see, we had 19 countries where we launched this activity. We had 5 million users that joined. We had more than 42 million predictions that were posted by the users, and a lot of interactions. So this attracted the attention, and we decided 3 months later to launch the same project, but for the Champions League for this season. And then we decided that we can integrate a brand. So right now we have a brand on board, which is a betting company, of course. I think that nobody would be that surprised, because this is where their audience is. Their audience is increasingly mobile. Their audience is virtual, so they can deliver the service and sell them and provide them all the full spectrum of the service only through the mobile phone. and they are into football. So football is their main topic. So what we did is that we struck a deal for these countries where we decided to implement the project in 30 countries at this time. And actually, this is a project which is right now ongoing. It is, I would say, in the millions range of sponsorship for these activations across these markets. And as you can see, the 1xBet logo, buttons, interactions are all over the flow and the chatbot. So right now, we have a lot of traffic, which we are generating in a very organic, very good and effective way within this activation and within these users that we have stepped on. Something else which is very interesting, and I want to point out, is the fact that we have invested a lot into building a very good infrastructure and a very secure service in Viber. So, as I said, it's very important not only to hear that somebody says, well, we are the most secure guys, but also to ask who is behind this company. So our competitor, we have only one competitor, which is, of course, very big and very prominent in the Czech Republic, and this is Facebook. And they are after data. They are after all of the data and the information and the users that they can get. Our parent company is the leader in financial services in Japan. And that's why we have a lot of technology that we are already providing through the chatbots, through our end-to-end encryption to financial institutions. And the best proof for the fact that we are so secure is the fact that we are working with some of the biggest and most demanding banks across the world, and especially these are like mostly the European banks that we work with, from the Raiffeisens and UniCredits out there to some local leaders, and they have delivered real banking services on Viber. So you can order a new credit card on Viber, you can apply for a loan, even for a mortgage loan through chatbots on Viber, you can get transactions, you can deliver and get your PIN codes instead on SMS on Viber services. And the reason for that is very simple. Probably not a lot of you know, but actually there are on a standard Android phone, on an iPhone it's a little bit more secure, but on a standard Android phone, you have at least 10 mobile applications that have access to your SMS. So the next time you subscribe for a service that delivers very important information to you on SMS, think twice, or at least do an audit of what kind of services have access and where they store this information and what they do with it. For Viber, it's not like that. We have end-to-end encryption. We have gone through security audits. I have answered probably 100 times, 100 questions from the IT departments of these guys, like at least half of these guys on this slide, and we have proven that we are very secure. So after integrating payments, which is part of our strategy, we are going into e-commerce. So as I mentioned, and I'll bring again the name of Rakuten. So just for your reference, Japan is a country which has 140 million people. Their internet population is 110 million, and out of this 110 million, 105 are buying something every month through a Rakuten service. So our group knows, and this is one of the most advanced internet markets in the world, one of the most advanced in terms of payments, in terms of e-commerce. And we have brought some of the parts of the artificial intelligence, of the adaptive interface, and we have put it into a solution which will enable merchants to provide different services and catalogs automatically with a very short and small integration into a catalog on Viber, which is already available in the US, and here we are working with leading brands like Macy's and Apple to deliver their products to our users there. So the flow is very simple. So usually when there are so many occasions when people are discussing what to buy for a present, do you like this product or that product? What would you recommend me to buy as a smartphone because my old one is gone? And this happens more and more in chat. So chatting about it, then sharing the link and sharing the product that you would recommend, liking it or interacting with it, and then clicking on the links and the offer that you receive within the chat, and then going to the checkout and the payment is the flow that we are going through, and we are adding each of these parts gradually. We are ready actually with the first couple of parts of them. So this is a real demo of our solution in the US. So you have the catalog, you have the merchants on the top. We select Sephora. So after football, we had to do something for the more female segment as an example, of course. I don't know what this does, but it's probably useful. Okay, so eyeliner. So you select an eyeliner. And then you have different types of eyeliners. And if you click on buy, you're taken directly to the checkout with this product, pre-selected in the shop of Sephora. So your customer is, after interacting in this very short period of time in the chat, in the conversation, without leaving it in any way, they are just one click away from buying the product and checking out. And our test in the US went very well. So we had 32% of the users that shared interesting products. So we had a very careful selection of very top brands, very interesting, very provocative products. And we had actually 16% of the users that were in conversations where the shopping catalog was used clicked on buy. The other interesting thing is that it became a habit because of the selection and of the artificial intelligence that we are using to adapt the offers in the catalog based on the behavior of the people. Actually, we had more than 6.3 times daily opens. So people were really using their pastime during the chats, waiting for answers from their friends to see what's in there. And also they started to use it in different kinds of conversations. And this is something that we are bringing next year to Europe, to a number of markets. And Central Europe and the Czech Republic is definitely one of these countries. The last thing that I want to briefly touch base is something that has become a very, very hot topic. It was also in the news yesterday that communities and organizing people that share a common interest, that share a common hobby, but don't know each other and want to have one line of separation at least, have a need to interact in a place which is fairly secure, but at the same time engaging and immediate. So this is the product that we have been developing since March. We launched it in the summer, and we have gradually perfected it. And right now, it's a very mature, very interesting product. And we already see that there are, I would say, hundreds of small communities for different kinds of interest, even in the Czech Republic. And basically what it does, it's something like a super group. So you can have up to unlimited number, we say up to 1 billion users, but I would say only unlimited number of users that you can invite into a group that has a history, that has admin controls. So the user that is the manager of the club for the Cocker Spaniels dogs in the Czech Republic can actually decide when to have a conversation between the users, when not to have it. If a user doesn't behave properly, he can ban it forever, this user, or just stop his messages. And at the same time, this is something that can be found on keywords, on the main screen of Viber, and it also appears within the chat. So this is a solution which is very useful and is being adopted for many different use cases. So the fans from a certain city that are supporting a certain sports team. Music lovers of a certain singer that are from a certain country and want to organize and go to the concert and create something special. Media and publishers, content creators, influencers, YouTubers, and of course it can be the municipality, it can be an apartment complex where the owners don't really want to disclose their numbers or their information with each other, but at the same time want to interact and to organize around topics when they need something to get done. So basically, this opens the opportunity for having these interactions and all the other products to live into a much larger social graphs and groups. So just briefly, a couple of examples. So we did a very interesting project with Pochoda Festival last summer in Slovakia. So we had more than 350,000 people that downloaded the stickers on Viber. Then they got more than 160,000 subscribers to their chatbot. 2 million messages were sent and exchanged with their chatbot about all kinds of activities, about tickets, schedule, advice about the weather, logistics, and so on. And they got a community for the core fans to interact and to share the experiences, to make ride sharing, and so on. We supported a charity project in Hungary. This is another very interesting example that we are very proud of for children that suffered some mental problems. And we created a sticker pack for them. It reached more than 100,000 people for the charity cause. And then they got they downloaded a sticker pack. And all of these people were subscribed to their community, where the managers of this wonderful charity were able to share their success, to share information on how to support it and to donate to this organization, and also pictures of the kids and all of the initiatives that they are undertaking. And a media example, the biggest cooking website, because like in the chats and in the conversations, there is a lot of talk about food. So probably after cats, we have the second most popular picture on Viber is of steaks or salads. So basically, we reached out to the leading cooking website in Hungary, and we created a sticker pack about cooking, eating at home, like food in general, and it got more than 400,000 sticker downloads. More than 5 million stickers were sent between the users. It was only in Hungarian, so I'm absolutely sure that nobody outside of Hungary received such a sticker because he couldn't read it. And then we got a chatbot which had more than 260,000 subscribers. And right now they have a huge uplift in their mobile audience because the chatbot is sending them reminders to the users based on their interests. If you have told the chatbot that you are into Italian food, then it regularly sends you a selection of the latest recipes and the best performing new recipes in their database, right into your phone in a very nice carousel. And it has really drove a lot of mobile audience back into the site on a more regular basis. And I think that there are a lot of Hungarians that are eating even much better recipes at home nowadays, thanks to our chatbot. Thank you very much.